having spies placed in a competing campaign by the people and party in absolute power for the sole purpose of political advantage and gain. That's a tweet from the president. Trump pushing his theory in spite of the fact that members from both parties who attended a classified briefing on the informant yesterday said they did not learn anything new to corroborate his claims. Out front now, the Director of National Intelligence under President Obama, James Clapper, the author of Facts and Fears, Hard Truths from a Line in Intelligence. Great to have you back with me, General. So let's start with this meeting, right? Even the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said he didn't, quote, learn anything surprising after meeting with the DOJ. But the president obviously went back on Twitter today, continued with the specific accusation a spy was planted in his campaign to help Hillary Clinton. Will there ever be evidence that makes the president stop making these claims?
Well, Aaron, thanks for having me. And I think the answer is probably not. I think this narrative is going to continue regardless of the facts. That's just that's the way things are now. And I think the president will continue to perpetuate that narrative no matter how much evidence is brought out.
The FBI started to look into Trump's ties to Russia in the summer of 2016. And Trump tweeted that this spying that he claims is spying, other people say it's a whistleblower or an informant. He says it's spying, is bigger than Watergate. So I ask you, was the FBI spying on Trump's campaign?
No, they were not. They were spying on a term I don't particularly like, but on what the Russians were doing, trying to understand, were the Russians infiltrating, trying to gain access, trying to gain leverage and influence.
So why doesn't
which
he like
is what they do?
So why doesn't he like that? He should be happy that
well,
we're
he should
doing.
be.
Right.
I mean, Russia, and this is one of the reasons I wrote my book, was the threat that Russia poses because they are bent on undermining our system. And that's what they did and had a lot of success during the course of the election.
Congressional leaders meeting with senior intelligence and law enforcement officials this past Thursday about the Russia investigation. President Trump claims a so-called government spy was placed in his campaign. One day after that meeting, the president tweeting, "Can anyone even imagine having spies placed in a competing campaign by the people and party in absolute power for the sole purpose of political advantage and gain? And to think that the party in question, even with the expenditure of far more money, lost!" Exclamation point. Now here's the other side. Democrat ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff. Watch.
Nothing we heard today has changed our view that there is no evidence to support any allegation that the FBI or any intelligence agency placed a spy in the Trump campaign or otherwise failed to follow appropriate procedures and protocols.
Joining me right now, Bud Commins. He's a former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Arkansas and partner at Avenue Strategies. Good to see you, Bud.
Good morning.
What do you think really happened here?
Well, you know, they're playing word games, and it's intended to be a distraction. And I think if you look at the overall landscape, there's a lot of concern among the Democrats and the left about the political implications of these latest revelations. They don't want to concede that a spy was put in the campaign. Okay, what about a confidential human resource paid to approach members of the campaign to try and elicit damning information? I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but they, during the course of an ongoing presidential campaign, the FBI targeted people in the campaign and went on a fishing expedition.
Okay, so what's the difference between a spy and an informant?
You got me. What's the difference between a murdering MS-13 gang member and an animal? You know, what's the difference between they eavesdropped on my campaign, whatever the president said, you know, they eavesdropped on me in Trump Tower. Well, they put taps on members of his team that talked to him. You know, it's a word game.
So I guess the question then,
it's talking points is really what it is.